If your body is waiting for the next bad thing to happen, even when things are going well, your nervous system may still be living in the past. My name is Elyssa. I'm a trauma informed executive coach and host of the Unlock Your Blocks podcast. On today's episode, I want to walk you through this really challenging part of being a high achiever and get you through to the other side with a little exercise I want to teach you that's going to help ground you into this moment right now that is actually safe. So, when we were little, a lot of high achievers, we learned that to be calm or to not be producing something or to feel relaxed was unmerited because the next thing that came around the bend might be something that totally throws off our safety. Maybe it actually gives us a threat, or maybe it just takes away the connection and the affirmation that we really wanted. So we learned that their life was sort of like quicksand, that you needed to just kind of be always scrambling, and you needed to continue to be the hardest worker in the room all the time. And there's something different between a lot of us have trouble really relaxing and like enjoying a vacation or a break, but there's something slightly different about this particular aspect of not being able to remain calm and at peace because your body is constantly anticipating that something will go wrong, something will put you in danger. This type of hypervigilance is really normal if you grew up in a kind of chaotic household, if you grew up in a household where there were addictions or mental health issues or physical health issues with a parent. Obviously, if there were, God forbid, big T trauma like abuse and things like this, your system would never really be knowing when it would be safe and when it wouldn't. So when things would be quiet or calm, it didn't feel safe to actually lean into that and restore. And the problem with this is that when you become an adult, our nervous system only allows our body to repair when it feels safe. So if you have chronic body issues, you have chronic fatigue, you have chronic pain, you have any kind of autoimmune issues, a lot of these things, digestive issues for sure, a lot of these things start when our system feels like it always has to be in this survival routine. And when we're in that survival mode, so your executive function brain, we call it the left brain, that's the rational side. And that's the side that's in charge when things are going well. When things aren't going well, we need another backup. We need like a little, army to come in and start protecting us. And that's the survival brain, the right brain, or, it's led by the amygdala, and the vagus nerve is in the body that kind of searches for, are we safe or are we not? So there's a whole bunch of brain science. We could go down that hole, but I'm not going to. But essentially just understanding that there are these two systems that are available to us and depending on what we need. If our nervous system and our vagus nerve, our amygdala perceives that the survival system is needed, that we got to stay on our toes, man. This is some scary stuff, this is some dangerous stuff, or we never know what version of dad we're going to get. Maybe he's going to be angry when he gets home, or maybe it's nothing that like that. Maybe it's more just like, oh, I can't get more of my needs met unless I'm constantly trying to work harder and get around whatever obstacles are coming up. Maybe you had siblings that you had rivalry with or that you had to compete with for parental attention. Maybe there was absence in the home. Maybe you grew up with one caregiver or the other not being there, or maybe you grew up in a home without two parents. There's a lot of stuff that can happen. And the big T, little t, and tiny t traumas that can happen to us as kids are a lot. And they all have the same effect. The nervous system just sort of learns, listen, I got to work harder, be better, and do more, or it will totally abdicate. But chances are, if you've found me and you're watching this channel, you are one of the high achievers. You're the responsible daughter, you're the responsible kid, you're the responsible sibling, you're the glue of the unit, you're the one that fixes everything, and you feel the world's responsibility on your shoulders. When that is how you grew up, your system doesn't feel like being calm accomplishes anything, and therefore it will not permit things like your rest and restore and your rest and digest parasympathetic nervous system to kick in, where our restoration in our cells even happens, or in our brain, or things getting replenished, injuries being taken care of. I had a really terrible injury last year, and I had to really work hard because I also had a lot of travel that I was doing with a bum ankle. And it was challenging to navigate that. And, these are j- really blessed problems. That one of my bigger issues last year was that I was having to travel everywhere with an ankle I couldn't use. But the problem was me trying to stay out of survival mode long enough for my body to repair my ankle, which is challenging when you are doing all the things, running a business, parenting, keeping relationships going, navigating travel, navigating whatever logistics are going on in your life. Those are just some of mine. So we want as adults to come back to our system and to help it learn how to be calm, to learn how to be a person that sort of sits back and takes things in instead of, okay, constantly looking to the next thing. Like, what do I have to do? What's next? What are we going to be doing? And so the body learns that calm actually isn't the most advantageous thing as a kid if you're a high achiever who learned these things from your circumstances. So I want to give you an exercise today that is going to help you remain in this moment and start to build little moments of safety into your day. I would love for you to save this exercise and to put a reminder in your phone or whatever it is that you use for reminders that are reliable. Put it on a sticky note on your bathroom mirror and use this as many times a day as you can, because what your body needs is a full snapshot of your current life. Now, if you're going through active trauma, this is going to be really helpful to you to build little sort of covert moments of calm to help your system deal with whatever the bigger trauma is at hand. You may be going through loss, grief, abuse recovery, or whatever you're going through. And my heart goes out to you. I've been through all those things. So you can use this whether you're in lots of trauma right now or you're not. The biggest important factor of this exercise is that you're just going to give your system a little picture of your current surroundings where you're safe. So doing this exercise, it only takes about 30 seconds and you can do it anywhere that you feel comfortable. You do have to actually feel pretty comfortable. But even if you don't, you can really, really focus in and be mindful with this exercise. And then you can become comfortable, even if it's an uncomfortable situation. So we call this the right now exercise. It's the right now reset is how I like to talk about it. And you might have heard of it as, I did not come up with it. It's a common, a fairly common exercise, but the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 reset. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to use your body's senses to prove that you are safe in this moment. So you're going to look around you and you can just take a breath right now with me. And literally let your shoulders get heavy and you're going to relax your body in the seat and you're going to look around you and find 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can smell, 2 things that you can hear, and 1 thing you can taste. So almost always there are a couple of little things you can hear, there are a couple of things that you can smell. And the important part about this, and you can flip-flop this, you can do, if you can't smell 3 things, you can flip-flop it with 3 things you can hear and 2 things you can smell. The bottom line is you're using your senses, your 5 senses, and your 5 senses, when you're in survival mode, they are optimized for survival mode. And this broadens them. If you've ever noticed in an emergency setting that you kind of like lose your peripheral vision and your brain is pretty focused in on what's directly in front of you, and maybe your senses get really heightened in a certain way, but they're not broad. They're really on fire in a specific way when you're in an emergency. And usually that's really helpful if you're actually in an emergency. But when we live in survival mode, your system can stay like that for hours, days, weeks, years at a time. And this right now reset exercise will put you back in a place of safety right here in this space. And that will cause your nervous system and your 5 senses to expand and to actually take in your environment instead of to just, okay, I guess this is what we're dealing with and we're just going to go for it. So it ratchets down the pressure that you're operating under. And that's what we want. We want it to reduce the pressure that you have so that you can soften your 5 senses enough to gather information about what's actually happening currently. So as you do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you are noticing the things that are around you, your brain is picking up, oh, actually, there's not carnage around us. Actually, there's no predator. Actually, there's not an immediate threat. Like, I'm in this safe seat and we're actually okay. Put together enough of those snapshots and it builds a whole picture to allow your nervous system to let you be calm, to let you move internally in a very soft and intentional way, regardless of how quickly you're moving and producing on the outside. You don't have to slow your productivity to move slow internally. This is the magic of nervous system regulation. If you can get everything on the inside to believe that you're safe, it will actually help you be more productive, more focused, more on top of things, have better decisions, and really trust yourself in the process. If you want to build even deeper safety for your nervous system, I've created a PDF that you can download, the 5 nervous system hacks that you can do at your desk. And it's exponentially a lot of results for very little output. So these 5 exercises I curated in this document so that you can just look right then and right there and immediately start making your system feel calm. So I hope that's really helpful for you today. Go to elyssasmith.com/reset to download the PDF guide. If you want some help diving into this a little deeper, if you're still struggling with feeling safe in your circumstances and you know it's stopping you from getting to your next level, you can book time on my calendar for free 15-minute focus call with me in Zoom where we will dive deeper into why this is happening for you. As soon as you know why, it will change everything for you. You're going to be able to tackle it at a level you never thought. So go to elyssasmith.com/focus for a 15-minute chat with me. And until next time, take such good care of yourself.